Thanks for joining us for KSAT News at 9, streaming live from right here in the KSAT 12 newsroom. I'm Steve Spriester. Coming up, a look at how the pandemic is impacting foster care programs statewide. The mayor will be joining us live to answer your coronavirus questions. Plus, we're explaining the battle over how elections are being conducted or should be conducted during this pandemic. But first, one more confirmed COVID-19 related death has been reported in Bexar County, bringing our local death toll to 58. The patient, a resident at the Rio Admission Trails nursing home, where several residents and staff members have been diagnosed with COVID-19. There are now 1,976 confirmed cases in the county. That's 34 more than we reported yesterday. Tonight, 868 people are still fighting the virus, but more than 1,000 people, 53%, have now recovered. Stay-at-home orders kept families of all kinds stuck inside, including those with foster children. The pandemic forced the state to pause many programs relating to foster care to keep kids and employees safe. An advocate who runs a local foster care campus tells Courtney Friedman they've had to get creative over the past few months.
For foster children, COVID-19 has done more than interrupt school and social time.
We saw a lot of our families and kids who had kids who could go to kinship, who could go to grandma or grandpa, but because of COVID and things not being safe, they couldn't get out there to do all of the walkthroughs and things that they needed to do. And so things kind of slowed down to a halt with that.
Sandra Jason runs True Light 127 Ministries, which certifies and provides support for foster parents. She also operates the True Light Youth Village, a foster care campus housing up to 20 children, newborns up to 17 years old. With CPS home visits on pause, the village has been completely full, and Jason has had to get creative with school and activities.
We had a big cook-off, and we had the kids come up with their own recipes. They could look it up on the internet, and it had to be from scratch. So we called that home ec, math class because they had to do measurements, life skills because they had to make grocery lists.
As Texas moves to reopen, kids are able to move out of the village, but that doesn't mean the spots stay empty. Jason says the number of child abuse calls dropped during the quarantine, a concerning trend she's glad is beginning to reverse.
We are starting to see an uptake in the calls for us to be ready to take these kids in. And it's kind of scary how long they've been in isolation in the situations they're in. But it's time now for foster families to be ready to say yes, because last night alone we had 8 calls.
She hopes families will begin the fostering application and training process so they're ready to jump in when help is needed.
If you want to learn more about fostering, we have the link on our website, KSAT.com. If you want to help support True Light 127 Ministries, they are taking monetary donations as well as gift cards to clothing stores. Jason reminds the public not to donate expired food. They're also not taking clothing donations right now due to the pandemic. Meanwhile, Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf says he is concerned about the way federal funding provided to Texas through the CARES Act is being distributed across the state. He says he, along with the county judges from 10 of the other largest counties in Texas, have sent a letter to Governor Greg Abbott to express their concerns.
Out of these largest counties, we have 68.9% of all of the positive cases in the state of Texas, but we're only receiving 28.6% of the state's some $11 billion that they have received. So we've expressed our concern to the governor about that we're not addressing the adequate the needs that are needed in the metropolitan areas. We'll see if anything comes of that.
We reached out to the governor's office tonight to ask for a response to the letter, but we have not heard back by airtime. As millions of jobs have been lost during this pandemic, staffing agencies and resume writers have continued to work to help people find new jobs. Tiffany Huertas gives us a look at how these businesses are adjusting and what jobs seem to be in high demand.
What we were pretty much staffing was clerical, but now it's kind of shifted more to your medical operations.
The vice president of Reliable Staffing, located in San Antonio, says during the pandemic, they have been finding San Antonians jobs in New York.
We've been pretty much just staffing out RNs, LVNs, and also the respiratory therapist out there.
Amy Aguayo says while they lost contracts because of COVID-19, they also gained new business.
We actually gained a lot more work through this pandemic. because of the need for the medical staff.
Aguayo says besides medical jobs, sanitation, warehouse, and food production jobs are in high demand. Reliable staffing has been operating during the pandemic. Recruiters have been working from home, but the agency is not seeing the same amount of applicants.
We've also noticed a lot of people are not looking for work right now with the unemployment being so high, as far as them receiving their benefits. We have locations in New Braunfels and Kerrville where we have banners outside. Nobody's walking in.
Aguayo says in her database, there are currently 100 open positions in San Antonio. The director of River City Group, a local business that offers resume writing services, says last month they saw a spike in new clients, but it slowed down.
People are somewhat scared, for viable health reasons, and also that the economy is in a nosedive right now, and unemployment figures are skyrocketing to levels we've never seen in our lifetimes.
Mark Spurlock says last year they wrote about 200 resumes. While this year they are not sure if they will exceed that number, Spurlock says people should always be ready with a resume.
This won't last forever. You don't want to be the last one boarding the train for employment when the economy does start to turn around.
That was Tiffany Huertas reporting. The pandemic has created a lot of unknowns for teachers, students, and their parents. But now a report from the Texas Education Agency is providing possible guidance on what to expect during the 2020-2021 school year. Some of the possible changes: an earlier start date, a long winter break, and a later end date. Thanksgiving and spring breaks could also last longer. You can read the full list of proposals right now on KSAT.com. They are two of the biggest questions when it comes to the coronavirus. When will there be a vaccine, and is herd immunity an actual option? The UTSA professor working on one of the city's COVID-19 models tells RJ Marquez the answers to both of those questions will take time.
This is a process that cannot be accelerated.
Dr. Juan Gutierrez has built multi-scale models for infectious diseases in the past. The UTSA professor knows we want to return to our daily lives, but a potential vaccine for COVID-19 is still at least months away.
There are at least 30 vaccine initiatives around the world. Our hope is that some of those will find an accelerated path to bring a vaccine to market.
Gutierrez says a vaccine goes through many developmental and approval stages before it can be used,
to guarantee that the risk is minimal and that we gain a benefit larger than the dangers that we're introducing potentially with a vaccine.
With no vaccine in the future, restrictions remain in many states. Many proponents for the removal of those restrictions believe herd immunity might be the answer.
Herd immunity happens when most of the population becomes immune to an infectious disease. This provides an indirect protection to those who are not immune to the disease and essentially stops the virus from spreading. Gutierrez says based on his research and the research of others, this is not an option for the novel coronavirus.
The evidence that exposure to COVID-19 confers lasting immunity is just not there. Nobody can in this moment claim with full certainty that whoever has been exposed to COVID-19 is now immune to the disease.
There also is not a clear understanding yet of the long-term effects of the virus. Some believe COVID-19 is just like the flu, but that's not true. Data shows the death rate for COVID-19 is higher than the flu. Introducing herd immunity could put people at risk and damage our health system.
Allowing this disease progress in the communities just to build herd immunity is morally irresponsible.
With more testing being done, we could get some answers soon, but for now, Gutierrez said social distancing and proper sanitation measures are the best bet to limit the spread of COVID-19.
Let's turn to tonight at 9. Two Floridians injured in a skydiving accident. A look at how COVID-19 is impacting communities across the world, and a message of unity coming from outer space. Here's tonight's 9 at 9. 5 surfers have died in the Netherlands after a huge layer of sea foam hampered rescue efforts. Emergency crews used a helicopter to try to blow away the foam and improve visibility. Despite a large-scale rescue operation, only one of the surfers could be saved. Investigators are now looking into what caused the sea foam and its role in the tragedy. In Florida, 2 people hurt in a skydiving accident. They were seen on video spiraling in circles as they came down. Police say their parachutes malfunctioned.
They were just spinning in circles really fast, and we thought at first it was a stunt. But when they started coming towards the ground, we could tell that something wasn't right because of how fast they were going. They weren't slowing down, and it didn't fully deploy.
The skydiver's injuries appeared non-life-threatening. Today, for the first time in almost 2 months, children in Panama were allowed to go outside, but they're only allowed to go near their home or public spaces in their residence, and they must wear a mask and be accompanied by an adult. Masses will resume in Italy next Monday after being banned for almost 2 months. The Italian military sanitized several churches in Rome on Wednesday. Rome's mayor said via Facebook that this is part of an operation to clean all churches and 337 parishes of Rome.
The Texas National Guard will help disinfect nursing homes to reduce the spread of COVID-19.
The disinfection teams will work in conjunction with the Texas Health and Human Services Commission. 6 teams have been mobilized across the state. Spain's oldest woman has survived coronavirus. Maria Brañas is 113 years old and may have become the oldest survivor of COVID-19. She's lived through 2 world wars and the 1918 flu pandemic, which killed more than 50 million people around the world. Canada's Calgary Zoo returning 2 pandas to China over worries it won't have enough bamboo to feed them. The zoo said it usually flies in bamboo from China to feed the animals, but the coronavirus pandemic has disrupted flights and caused delays in supplies. A panda's diet consists of almost entirely fresh bamboo, and the zoo said they usually eat about 88 pounds each day. The first man in San Antonio to donate his plasma as part of a potential COVID-19 treatment got a chance to meet the first family he helped today face-to-face. David Herman was the city's first donor. He met in person today with the wife and son of Jimmy Hayden, the first recipient of his plasma. The Hayden family now paying it forward by donating their plasma as well.
Great to finally meet him. He's like part of our family now. I feel like he is our family.
A message of unity for the entire planet coming to us from outer space. NASA astronaut Chris Cassidy beamed a message home from the International Space Station this week. He says there's hope during the coronavirus pandemic if we just stick together.
Together, as a crew on planet Earth, we can make anything happen.
To read more about these stories, head to KSAT.com. All right, so you could tell the humidity was back today.
Oh, yeah.
But it was still a pretty nice day.
Yeah, we got the sun going a little bit in the afternoon, and when those low clouds cleared out, that's what made it really nice for the flyover, and everyone had a nice view. So we are glad that the weather cooperated today, that's for sure. We may see some rumbles of thunder overnight tonight, especially if you're west of 35. We'll get to that in just a second. Take a look at the time lapse beginning at 5 p.m. today. So mainly this afternoon, we had those cumulus clouds, these puffier clouds that are a bit lower in the sky. But I want you to notice what moves in from the west, kind of in the background there, these higher thin clouds. Those clouds moved in all the way from northern Mexico this evening because of some storms that developed in the higher terrain well off to our west. But they filled in very nicely, made it all the way past the I-35 corridor and really kind of helped us to cloud up a bit this evening. 66 our morning low, up to 92 this afternoon. I'm thinking we're going to stay pretty hot in the afternoons for the next couple of days. Doppler radar now. Our radar site up in New Braunfels is picking up on a little bit of ground clutter in and around San Antonio. There's no rain around San Antonio right now, but there is some rain and some thunderstorm activity still off to the west of the border and then coming out of the Big Bend region of far west Texas there. This yellow box here, that is a severe thunderstorm watch box, which only includes Valverde County at this time. I'm not expecting that to be extended farther to the east, closer to I-35, because these storms that have developed late this afternoon and this evening, while they're still packing a punch right now, as they continue to move east, the trend is that they'll gradually weaken, so that severe thunderstorm watch box not expected to be moved off to the east. Del Rio, you had a lot of that cloud cover moving in this afternoon as those storms develop. Now it looks like there's just a little shower there off to the north of town. All the other activity, again, still well west of Eagle Pass in the border there, and then up to the west of the hill country. So again, the trend over the next couple of hours is that these storms could certainly hold together, but they'll continue to gradually weaken and fall apart a bit as they head off to the east. Nonetheless, a few rumbles of thunder will be possible in our far western counties through about midnight or so. And we'll have to watch these storms overnight if they can hold themselves together. Maybe we get a little bit of rain here in San Antonio early tomorrow morning, likely before dawn. This is 4 a.m. A little bit of shower activity moving in, possibly a rumble of thunder, but there won't be any severe weather. if those storms make it to San Antonio early tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, a couple of isolated showers, non-severe storms will be possible, mainly east of the I-35 corridor and east of San Antonio. So I expect most of us to stay rain-free tonight and during the day on Thursday. However, better chances of more widespread rain, so chances for more of us to see rain will kick in Friday night into Saturday. A 40% chance of showers and storms late Friday. A 60% chance of rain to start the weekend on Saturday. So what's happening there? We've got an upper level low that will be moving in from the west coast by Friday afternoon. Friday night into Saturday morning, the swings over South Texas will have a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. So this will be conducive to some shower and thunderstorm activity, and any rain that falls as we get into late Friday, early Saturday certainly could be heavy. And as this upper level low hangs around into Sunday and rain chances continue through the end of the weekend, we could have several inches of rain through the end of the weekend. It won't be until Monday into Tuesday of next week that our weather pattern will start to change the other direction. High pressure moves in and we'll see rain chances drop out of the forecast. But really quickly through the end of the weekend, we're looking at possibly 1 to 3 inches of rain across portions of South Texas, especially if you're along and east of the I-35 corridor. So those purple colors indicating 1 to 2 inches of rain from Friday all the way through the end of the day on Sunday. That red color, maybe 2 to 4 inches of rain, and that's certainly not out of the question. And if you recall yesterday, we had some flash flood warnings starting to develop as some heavy rain moved through portions of the hill country. So places this weekend that get more heavy rain, we could see more flash flooding issues as we get into the weekend. So that is something to keep in mind. And of course, we'll keep you updated. Tomorrow, first thing in the morning, can't rule out a lingering shower from those storms that are out to the west tonight. 92 tomorrow afternoon, a 20% chance of an isolated afternoon shower or storm. But again, this weekend, late Friday night into Saturday, that's our better chance for more of us to see some widespread, potentially heavy rain. I think by Sunday, we'll be starting to see rainfall coverage drop off, but some still heavy showers and storms will be possible to finish up the weekend. Steve, so I'm really glad we got that flyover in today.
Yeah.
Timed it just right.
I'm just glad you're back in the studio.
Me too.
You know, it was just me out here for a while when I did the 9. You know, you're familiar with the group 3 Dog Night?
Oh, yes.
They do a song called 1 is the loneliest number. Here, 9 is the loneliest number. So I'm glad you're back, Katie.
We're happy.
We'll be back in 1 minute. It is all about information and fighting fear with facts. It's what we're attempting to do every weeknight during this pandemic around the same time. Tonight, we are joined by Mayor Ron Nirenberg. Mayor, thank you for joining us again here on a Wednesday. And you have expressed some concern about the fact that a lot of people aren't being tested. And that's really the first question we have tonight. Why do you think more people aren't being tested?
You know, it's a head scratcher because we've been working on expanding testing for some time, and you know, we've had plenty of capacity to test everyone who comes to seek one, and we just haven't seen that many people come and get tests. We've had roughly 1,600. I think we have over 2,000 tests available to us per day, and we haven't seen those numbers. There's a couple things going on to assess that, and the reasons why. One is that we are moving those testing facilities around the city, targeting areas where we know there's less healthcare access and where we've seen fewer people seek the test. We're also trying to get information out there. There's, you know, some information and some concern from people that, you know, might be painful to get the test. We're saying it's very simple. You're seen by someone who knows what they're doing, and they can make it very quick, and you can get your test results very quickly. The other thing is correcting the information that's out there. The testing protocols have changed a number of times over the course of the pandemic from the CDC and at the local level. Currently, you don't need a doctor, you don't need an appointment, you don't need money, and you don't need symptoms to get a test. If you need to get a test, obviously we'd like for there to be a reason, like you've been exposed to someone who has it, or you do have symptoms. But if you want a test, you can get a test, and we have a number of different sites on the website. You can go and look where they're taking tests, sanantonio.gov/COVID-19.
Yeah, right now there are enough tests for everybody. It's just that there aren't as many people as anticipated getting tested.
That's right. And we want to get up to roughly 3,000 a day over the next few weeks.
Next question is there an effort being made to encourage more recovered patients to donate plasma?
There are, and our mental health team provides information. The providers provide information as well about plasma donation upon recovery. Obviously, not everyone wants to do that, but the people who show interest, they're followed up with. And, unfortunately, there hasn't been a large number of people who have donated plasma, but for those who have, they are saving lives. We've talked about a good friend, Paul Balzadua, whose story we shared quite a bit about his donation of plasma provided for enough to, provide for the recoveries of 5 people. And so we encourage it. It's easy. It's something that can save many, many lives, and it's very effective. So if you have interest, if you've recovered from COVID-19, we want to put that information in your hands so you could potentially be a donor of plasma that could save many lives in our community.
Yeah, that's great what you just said. I want to make, because we've gotten that question before, how much can one recovered plasma donation, how many lives or how many patients could it possibly save? And you said 5, so that's...
The donation that Paul gave in his story and the picture that you saw, he was holding the plasma donation from one event, and it was enough for 5 patients.
Yeah, that's great. I know a lot has been made about masks and face coverings. Have you ever considered mandating gloves be worn?
We haven't, and obviously in certain situations gloves are warranted, but the most effective way of protecting yourself other than wearing a mask is to do what you should be doing anyways, which is washing your hands with soap and water. Gloves potentially could give you a false sense of security. If we get different guidance about gloves from the CDC, then we will offer that here at the local level. But right now, the mask prevents someone who has the droplets that could contain the virus from going to someone else, whether or not they are symptomatic or not. And we want to continue the very basic soap and water, washing of hands, 20 seconds, which is enough time to sing happy birthday twice.
Yeah. In the wake of AG Ken Paxton's letter yesterday, are you going to make any changes to the emergency ordinances that the city has set forward?
No. In fact, Andy Segovia, a brilliant attorney, our city attorney, was on the show, was on the briefing last night to explain how the deputy attorney general who wrote the letter to us clearly didn't have the facts about our orders, because everything that was in our orders addressed the issues in his letter. We wrote it purposefully inclusive of the governor's language to make sure it did not conflict. And so we're going to continue to go with that. Obviously, the attention is on masks. The governor was very clear. We do not have the authority to issue fines, and we haven't issued a fine. But it is important that people know that masks ought to be worn because it clearly prevents the spread of the disease, especially among those who are carrying it asymptomatically. It's guidance from the CDC, it's guidance from our local public health professionals, and it's even in the language that the governor orders himself. So clearly there's a disconnect between Ken Paxton's office and what the medical professionals unanimously have said about preventing the spread of this disease.
All right, I want to get to some more viewer questions now. Somebody wants to know, can they report someone to 311 for not social distancing?
Yeah, I mean, you can. Social distancing is not, is part of the protocols that we should all be comfortable with and understand in order to prevent the spread of the disease. But there's only some particular circumstances within businesses that there are mandatory requirements. What they are in general, though, is that you need to be following these guidelines. Stay 6 feet away from people who do not reside in your household. Otherwise, if you're in a situation where you can't maintain that, wear a mask. It's pretty simple stuff. We're just trying to save lives, keep people healthy, and that will allow us to open up our economy and enjoy the things that we're used to doing.
All right, last question before I give you the floor here to talk about what you want to talk about. But how much money does San Antonio anticipate on spending on testing?
Our health transition team had some great recommendations that are now guiding the next actions through our Metro Health Department, as well as the City Council and the city organization in general. And our health plan calls for roughly $70 million, which are reimbursable from the federal government for standing up testing, tracing, and isolation protocols for our city. The first and most important thing that we can do to get our economy back on track is to make sure that we have the capacity to identify new infections of this virus when it's out in the community, to trace where they're coming from, and ultimately to locate and isolate them. We know that it is impossible for us to expect that there will be zero occurrences of this virus in our community. But what we can do is make sure that we can contain what's out there and identify what comes as quickly as possible so we can isolate it, and the rest of the community and the rest of the rest of the life in the city can go on as we maintain our containment.
Right. All right. I want to give you the floor now. What do you want our viewers to know tonight?
This community has saved, according to the health studies, roughly 8,000 lives, more than 8,000 lives in the last 6 weeks of observance of physical distancing guidelines, the stay-at-home orders, the prevention measures that we put in place that were guided by our health professionals. That's 8,000 people who may have been a family member, a loved one, a friend, a neighbor. That has been done by our community because we have stood in solidarity with one another. It's not because there have been mandates. It's not because there have been the threat of fines. It is simply because we care for one another. This is a compassionate community. None of that changes as new orders come in, as there's potential mixed messages from the state and the federal government. We care about one another. This is a compassionate community, so let's continue to get the job done on behalf of one another to save one another's lives, and let's continue to build a city that we can be proud of and leave to our next generation, our children and our grandchildren.
What we are all doing is making a difference. Mr. Mayor, I appreciate your time tonight.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Steve. Have a great evening.
You too. We'll be right back. Here are today's top stories. Metro Health is opening 2 new free COVID-19 testing site locations. It's in partnership with the San Antonio Fire Department. The new locations will open tomorrow through Saturday at the Southside Lions Community Center and the Claude Black Community Center. They will run from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Each location limited to 150 tests per day. Remember, you don't need an appointment to get tested. People with symptoms or those who are asymptomatic can also get tested. H-E-B getting even stricter with their limits on meat purchases at San Antonio stores. You can only buy a maximum of 2 frozen chicken items or 2 frozen raw beef burger packages. It's in addition to the limits already in place. Right now, customers are limited to 5 packages total of fresh beef, ground beef, chicken, pork, and turkey. Customers are not allowed to buy 5 of each meat. There is a battle brewing across the state of Texas over our upcoming elections, or rather how they'll be conducted. At this point, several different civil rights groups, voters, and even the Texas Democratic Party have filed lawsuits demanding mail-in voting be expanded during this pandemic so people can avoid going to the polls in person. We spoke to 2 elections experts about who currently qualifies for voting by mail under Texas election code and why this is an issue you should be keeping an eye on.
There are 5 states in the U.S. that primarily vote by mail. Several other states allow voters to mail in ballots without giving an excuse. But here in Texas,
well, technically anybody's eligible. However, There are all sorts of stipulations that come into play. It's not an easy task to do absentee balloting in the state.
Texas is one of the few states that does require an excuse to explain why you are voting by mail.
This is the list of reasons you can give for needing a mail-in ballot in the state. It includes being disabled, being out of the country, or being older than 65. It does not account for the unprecedented situation we currently find ourselves in.
Never before have Americans been asked to vote and to put their life in risk.
In a time when we're all being asked to keep our distance, some are worried about having to physically cast a ballot. And many civil rights organizations and political scientists are worried about the impact this will have on voter turnout.
It impacts everything in your life. I mean, the old joke that, you may want to ignore politics, but politics is not going to ignore you. You're paying for this stuff. I mean, it's pocketbook issues as much as anything else.
And it also sends a very important message to those in government that we as citizens are keeping an eye on their job performance.
On April 7th, Wisconsin's decision to hold in-person elections in the middle of a pandemic was criticized by health experts across the country.
I felt embarrassed for the people running that election. That did not need to happen.
More than a dozen people who said they voted in person or worked the polls later tested positive. And while several of those people said they could have been exposed somewhere else, it's still a risk many don't want to take. It's why a lot of people are trying to expand mail-in voting in the state. So why is there such pushback?
The other side of the argument is that it's going to be rife with corruption. How can you possibly trust the U.S. Postal Service to do this? Look how they deliver the mail now.
Some have cited concerns about voter fraud, including Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. On May 1st, he sent out a letter to local elections officials saying that voters cannot legally ask for a mail-in ballot because they fear contracting the new coronavirus. He said that expanding mail-in ballots will, quote, only undermine the security of our elections and facilitate fraud, end quote.
The cases of fraud and manipulation are so low that they're negligible. Cheating the system via mail-in ballots is the worst way or the most inefficient way of hacking an election. It would take so much work where there's other easier ways to hack an election.
Both of the political scientists we talked to say the focus should be to get rid of hurdles in the way of citizens exercising their right to vote.
We should be encouraging people to vote. Yeah, be informed, but encourage them to vote. Putting barriers up is not something we want to do.
There's no reason why we should make Americans risk their lives to cast a ballot.
The Bexar County Commissioners Court will be discussing mail-in ballots this week. Last week, they asked the district attorney to look into Texas election code for possible avenues to expand vote by mail during a public health crisis. Last night on the news at 9, we asked infectious disease Dr. Ruth Berggren about the safety of in-person voting this year. Here's what she had to say.
I don't think it would be very wise. I vote regularly, and I stand in line with everybody else, and I think that sometimes the lines are long, it can be hot outside, and it's going to be very hard to keep people 6 feet apart. And then you have the fact that the voting booths themselves are high-touch areas. How are you going to handle that? Voters themselves are not necessarily 6 feet apart when they're in the booths. There's a short divider between you and the next person over, but you're certainly not 6 feet apart. So I think that without a major overhaul of the setup, it's going to be very hard to do that safely. And I really think that mail-in voting would be a very appropriate adaptation to this situation. It makes a lot of sense to me.
Hey, what's up guys? Time to check out some stories that are trending tonight on KSAT.com, and what a day it was on our website, and that is primarily because the Thunderbirds officially flew over the San Antonio area earlier this afternoon, and it was definitely a sight to see for people that were able to witness it. I unfortunately was not. I waited out there for a while, could not see them, so if you're like me and were not able to catch them, you could go to our website and see some pretty cool videos that we have. We also have photos on there. Our Sky 12 video from our chopper is really impressive, kind of followed them throughout the path. So if you want more information on the Thunderbirds and more content, more stories, we have a lot of different different sidebar stories for the Thunderbirds. All you need to do is go to KSAT.com. It is actually some pretty cool stuff there. All right, moving on here. Some good stuff here for 2020 grads. Krispy Kreme is giving away a dozen free donuts to 2020 graduates. Now we know that 2020 grads really kind of got the short end of the stick here because they have not been able to have their ceremonies, not been able to enjoy their senior year. So Krispy Kreme wants to give them 12 free donuts. This is going to take place May the 19th. Now here's the deal. In order to get the donuts, you have to show up with your cap and gown, and you have to show up with some swag or something to prove you're a 2020 grad. Don't just roll up there with your 2005 stuff. You may not get something. I don't know, maybe you will. Maybe you could trick them. Maybe you could get a free donut or whatever. But anyways, Krispy Kreme for a whole week from the 18th to the 24th is doing a graduate dozen as well. They're gonna have different assortments and things like that. So if you're not a grad, or maybe you know a grad, then definitely pick up some Krispy Kreme for them. I'm sure that they would definitely appreciate during this time, again, because it's been kind of hard on the seniors not being able to enjoy their final year. All right, last story here. And you know what, we're gonna combine this. These are two Spurs stories. I wanted to combine them. First one, Patty Mills. What a guy. He raised $104,000, nearly $104,000 for a great cause during Mother's Day. He did the Give Mama Coffee campaign, and it raised money for family violence prevention shelters in the San Antonio, Bexar County area. This was all in one day. He managed to round up 8 coffee shops to all take part in this. $104,000, really impressive. I'm telling you, Patty Mills, what a guy. Retire this man's jersey, I'm telling you. He's helping out Australia. He's helping out the animals. Patty's just such a good dude. You could see the full information on our website, KSAT.com. And last Spurs story, I had to throw this in here because I'm so bored. There's no sports going on. ESPN released its list of the greatest NBA players of all time. Of course, Tim Duncan makes the top 10. He ended up at 8th, but there is definitely some debate over whether Timmy should have been higher, should he have been ahead of some other guys. You can look at the list on KSAT.com. And also, check out some of the other Spurs that made it. Of course, David Robinson made it. Tony, Manu, for sure. And yeah, that guy Kawhi Leonard, man, Kawhi is also in there too. So a lot of conversation going on our social media channel. So chime in on that. Check out all of our content throughout the day on KSAT.com. And you guys have a great night.
That does it for the KSAT News at 9. From all of us here at KSAT 12, especially Lexi, the hardworking producer. See her right there? Look at her. She had to put up with me all night, so sorry, Lexi. We'll see you at 10.